As Russia's invasion of Ukraine continues, the refugee crisis is growing. We witnessed amazing displays of support from world leaders far and wide. Several U.S. officials have also stepped in to aid refugees, including former governor of New York, George Pataki. And he is actually going to be joining us right now. His nonprofit has provided shelter, food, water, blankets to families. Governor Pataki, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for Adrienne. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. We have so much to talk about because you were actually able to travel into Ukraine twice. Why did you feel compelled personally to leave the safety of your home in the States and travel all the way there?
You know, you see the horrible images on television. You just showed one about the bombing of the train station in eastern Ukraine, and you wonder, what can you do to help? And I just decided to go and see what was the need and if there was some way to try to fill that need. So a few weeks ago, I went over to Hungary and went through into Ukraine, met with government officials, and they need everything. They need weapons. They constantly talk about that, but our efforts are humanitarian. So we provided food, we provided medicine, and just on Monday, we put up 20 temporary houses in Ukraine next to a shelter where 200 women and children are sleeping quite literally on cots on a closed factory floor. So they need thousands of these housing units, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure we bring them into Ukraine where the people need them.
You are of Hungarian descent, and you actually mentioned recently how well Hungary is doing. We hear a lot about what Poland has done for so many millions of refugees, but what are they doing in Hungary?
I'll tell you, it's just encouraging to see the refugees who can cross into Hungary are very well taken care of. There's health care right at the border. There's transportation to take them to Prague or Budapest or Vienna or wherever they're looking to go. There's food and shelter. You know, and when we went into Ukraine the second time, we had a school teacher who was our interpreter. He and a couple of friends had made 1,000 sandwiches. So you get across the border into Poland, into Ukraine, into Hungary, into Moldova, into Romania. Everybody's doing their best to help, and they're doing pretty well. But you go into Ukraine itself, you cross the border. There are an estimated 6 million refugees in Ukraine who haven't left, who can't leave and aren't going to leave. They're the ones who don't have any help. They're the ones who don't have housing, who don't have adequate health care. And that's what we're trying to provide in Ukraine itself.
I have to ask you this. You were the governor of New York at the time of the 9/11 attacks. How did that prepare you for what you've just recently been doing in Ukraine?
Well, Adrienne, one of the things that struck me right away was after those attacks, we needed the whole country behind us to get through it. New York, we would have gotten through it eventually, but without the help of people from every part of the country, it would have been a much harder and much longer recovery. And looking at Ukraine, I was thinking the same thing. They're not going to be able to get through this themselves. On the military side, they need NATO, they need the U.S., they need a lot more help. But on the humanitarian side, they need the world's help. And when we went into Ukraine, there are no things being done from the West. You don't see any Western aid agencies. You don't see the Red Cross, the International Red Cross. You don't see the UN. And they're working, I guess, on the other side of the border where people have left. But there's this huge void inside Ukraine itself. So they're not going to get through it by themselves. We need help. We're going to continue to help. And thanks to the very kind donations of people who have looked at what we're trying to do and helped us. So far, we've built 20 houses. We have 10 today that the Ukrainian government's taking to Bucha to help people there, that they're coming back. And we want to do a lot more.
It's amazing that you were able to do that so fast in just a matter of weeks. I have to ask you, how did you do that?
Well, we reached out. First of all, we got donations to help us. Then we looked, where are there modular housing companies that can bring things into Ukraine? And we found a company that has these terrific housing units, $15,000. We can build a significant unit with heat, electric, light that people can move into. And they can bring them across the border into Ukraine and then put them up there. And that's what we're doing on Monday. We put 20 up on Monday, and we had people from Kyiv come to watch. And they were so excited that today we're sending 10 more, and the Ukrainian government is sending an engineering group of soldiers to learn how to put these up, and then they're going to take them up to Bucha. And to the extent we can get more, they want to put them all over the country. You know, Adrienne, they need hundreds of thousands of these. We've been able to do 30. So much more needs to be done. We're going to do what we can if people donate, But we need to get the government, the U.S. government, NATO and others to do far more in Ukraine.
Well, it's a start, and what is important is it's getting started. Former Governor of New York, George Pataki, thank you so much for being with us this morning, and for the Pataki Center doing so much to help the people of Ukraine. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.